Welcome to our Wednesday service, and a special welcome to those of you who are peeking in on YouTube, watching us from wherever you are, whatever time zone you're in. In Redondo, I will say to you all, we're having some rain. We're having some rain. It is worth celebrating. I'm commenting on it and affirming it is good. We're glad you're here. And we're going to talk about some of the things that are going on, even starting tonight. The walk in, dance out classes continue tonight. They start at 6 o'clock. And I'm sure you can come even if you've never been before. Check that flyer out there and see what you would like to do to be a part of it. I think they do the class part, the teaching part, in the first part of the event, and then do some dancing afterwards. So many people have a lot of fun. Maybe you can too. Tomorrow we have our once a month event that we call Spiritual Discussion. Right now it is being held at 2 p.m. in the afternoon on the first Thursday of the month, and we're holding it right out there in the foyer. So whether it's raining or not, you can come in and be warm and dry. It's a topic that Mark and Monica Ruth choose and work up some questions. It's just an opportunity to explore spiritual concept with this community, whoever shows up. If you've never been before, again, all you have to do is show up, 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. And then on Saturday, Reverend Mary is continuing her class. I think this is the 5th of 7 classes. So it would probably help if you've already been in this class, but it is at 10 o'clock on Saturday. It's called Revealing Wholeness, and it is exploring the ideas that are developed in the book Mind Over Medicine, understanding how we use our own consciousness to effect changes in our body that we would like to achieve. And so it starts at 10 a.m. and goes until 12:30. And then we move forward to this Sunday. It's November the 6th, this coming Sunday, and Reverend Mary Morgan is delivering the message. And I don't know the title, but I bet we could look that one up. And then also we are going to have, as a part of November the 6th, at the end of the service, we are going to recognize Remembrance Sunday, that we call it, and it will be at the end of the service. We have a slideshow, and we invite those of you who plan to be here Sunday to bring a flower. Bring something out of your garden or your neighbor's garden. Just bring a flower if you want to honor a loved one in that way. And we will have that be part of the slideshow in this ceremony. It's a quiet time. It's really a lovely experience. And so join us for that at the end of the service this coming Sunday. Then Monday, which is November the 7th, we're finally going to have that introductory balance class that I think we've been talking about for a couple of months. A number of people have signed up, and they have been called to remind. But even if you didn't sign up, all you have to do is show up. Now, it's Monday morning at 10 a.m. And the whole purpose of this class is to see where you are in this whole process so that those who are teaching you can better understand how to teach the next class, which is going to be November the 14th. So come for this and learn how this is going to go. And Dana, I know, I had yoga with her yesterday. She's passionate about this, about that all of us, as our years pile up, remember to develop the muscles and the tone that we need to help keep ourselves upright, even if we stumble over things that might be in front of us. It's a great, great concept. So embrace this for yourself. And it is something that you just have to come and see what it's about. That's November the 7th. And then we have on Tuesday, we have the in-person book reading right there in the foyer. They're reading The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And then we move to the regular yoga class at 11 o'clock. 10 o'clock is the book reading. 11 o'clock is yoga next door in Richelieu Hall. Then on Wednesday, we have the Zoom meeting, a reading of Learn to Live, which is studying the parables of Jesus in the Bible. And then we have our Wednesday service. This is November the 9th. And so next Sunday, that it's going to be the next Wednesday. Let me get my stuff straight. Next Wednesday, that is November the 9th, we have our Wednesday service, and I am the speaker next Sunday. So now you have all that roster stuff, and you can store that away. But if you have any questions, just call the office, and they will get you all straight. So as we're looking forward in time, we have a lot of other events going on. Keep up with us. We have our newsletter. Many times we have flyers out in the foyer, and it's just we're building and adding as we're opening more and more, and we're just so thrilled to be able to do this. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for your support. We appreciate it so, so very much. And so now it is my privilege to sidestep the spotlight that is up here and welcome Reverend Valerie Reeves to the platform.
Thank you. Good morning. Yay! It's a beautiful day. I know that if it usually rains here on a day, the next day it snows in Nebraska. So I'll be calling siblings and saying, "Are you getting snow?" Because that's probably happening. Today my talk title is Share the Dream. And as Catherine was talking about, time is ticking away. It's like, okay, it's this Saturday night where we set our clocks back, fall back, spring forward. So we'll have that extra hour, right? What are we going to do with that time? And we all have the same amount of time. And sometimes I look at other people that get so much done. It's like, how do they do that? It's called organization. Something I'm not really familiar with. So I'm working on that. But as we're getting closer to the holidays, I was reminded of a story from a friend of mine that every year she would get a ham for the holidays, and she would cut off both the ends and then put it in the pan and bake it. And her husband asked her, "Why do you cut the ends off of the ham?" She's like, "I don't know. My mom always did it. So that's what I do because that's what we do." And so he called the mother-in-law, and he's like, "Why do you always cut the ends off of the ham?" And she's like, "Well, I don't know. My mom always did it." So he called the grandmother. "Why did you always cut the ends off of the ham?" And she said, "I got to tell you, I only have a small pan. And that's all the way it'll fit is by having that, cutting the ends off." And it's like, why would you ruin a good ham by cutting the ends off? Because that's the only size pan that you had. Sometimes we have a tendency to do the same things that other people have done because we were just trained that way. And there might be patterns in our thought that we have taken on based on what we heard from our parents or from our grandparents or from our teachers or the people around us. So to be able to honor ourselves and not live somebody else's dream or be on the trail of what somebody else thought was right for us, where we get to stand up and say, "This is my dream, and this is the direction I'm going," regardless of anything else. I have 4 siblings, 2 sisters, 2 brothers. They're all married, they all own their own home, and they've all been with the same job for about 25 years. My life is a little different. I'm a little more of a free spirit. And so when I was getting into comparison, a friend of mine was telling me, she's like, "But you're just different. You're supposed to touch lives all over the world. That's what you do. You live a different life. You can't compare yourself." And I thought, thank you. So what what I'm curious about, and I want you to think about this for yourself. When you want to complain about something about yourself or something going on in your life, who do you call? Ghostbusters, yeah. Call Ghostbusters. Who are you going to call? Because sometimes we call people that are going to help pull us down. They just want to commiserate with us. And it's a choice. We get to choose who we're calling. Did we call somebody that's going to take us down, or are we going to call somebody who pulls us up? And I've done both. There are sometimes I just want to cry and whine and complain about it. My daughter was the best teacher of this for me because she started complaining about something, and I'm mom, so I jump into fix-it mode. Well, we could do this, this, and this. And she looked at me and she said, "I don't want you to fix it. I just want to cry about it." I want to whine and complain and cry about it and just have some compassion. And that's appropriate sometimes for a short amount of time. I don't like to do the spiritual bypass where we just pretend it's not happening. And in this teaching, sometimes we have a tendency to do the spiritual bypass, where I just want to pretend it's not happening. I'm not going to talk about it. But once in a while, we have to really, here's where I'm at. Here's what's going on. And let me get to another space. Let me not stay stuck in it where you're so angry and frustrated. I like to give myself about 5 to 10 minutes to whine and complain about it, and then it's time to move on. But sometimes if we have it, it's like taking that thorn that's in our hand and putting a Band-Aid over it. Instead of pulling the thorn out, we just Band-Aid over it. It's like, here's where I'm at and here's what's happening. And let me make sure that I'm finding the appropriate people to talk to about that. Ones that aren't going to say, oh, yeah, your life is bad. Things are rough. I want somebody who's going to see the divinity and to say, this is just a situation right now. Let's look at where you're going. And one of the people I will call is a practitioner. So the practitioners of Centers for Spiritual Living, they are trained in prayer work. They are trained to see the divinity in us when we can't even see it in ourselves. And trust me, I use practitioners. So if you don't know who to call when you have a situation going, because it's confidential information that they will take and they will do prayer work. And words are powerful. Our thoughts are powerful. They will help lift us up. And I have to tell you, when I first came to this teaching, I was in total victim mentality. I was in Denver, Colorado, and I had a lot of stuff going on. And I took Science of Mind 1 because that was the first class that you would take back in the day. And I had a practitioner, and she listened to me over and over and over again, tell pretty much the same story. And she finally sat down with me and said, we just need to have a conversation. It's kind of those come to Jesus talks. It's like you are creating your own reality. And either you're a victim of your circumstances or you take control of your life. I think it's time to take control of your life. Start seeing what it is that you do want versus what you don't want. It's all of that garbage that we carry with us. And I love the analogy of a GPS. When we get in our car, it says, where are you and where are you going? It doesn't say, where have you been? What happened? Why did all this happen and why are you carrying all this? It just says, where are you? I'm right here right now. So based on where I am right here right now, where am I going? And then find people to share your dreams with. I have a mastermind group that I've been meeting with for about 10 years, and we meet every other week, 2 times a month. And I actually have another one that we meet once a month. But having people that you know are going to love and support you, and that are going to remind you, remember your dream? Let's pull it out. Let's take a look at it. But not in a judgmental way, in a loving way. How can I support you in your dream? Which is what our practitioners will do. Ernest Holmes says this, and I absolutely love it. He says a lot of things. We are immersed in the atmosphere of our own thinking, which is the direct result of all we have ever said, thought, or done. This decides what is to take place in your life. We're the sum total of everything. And based on where we are in our thoughts and the accumulation of things, that is our mental equivalent. So if I want to change my life, definitely in this teaching, we talk about changing our thinking. As Ernest Holmes goes on to say, we are open at the top, which was one of my favorite things because a lot of other places that I had been had talked about this is all we know, and this is where we're at, and this is what the truth is. Well, we can't know that's the truth. That's the one common denominator of all of us here on earth. We can't really say without a shadow of a doubt where we come from and where we go. And we can all have a pretty good idea, and we can have things that resonate with us. But when Ernest Holmes said we're open at the top because we don't know everything right now, we're still learning. And these things that he brought together in this philosophy, founder of this teaching, all of the teachers of the ages, it's like, here's what makes sense. And it resonates with me. I know it resonates with most all of us. One of the other things I was told when I came to this teaching, take what you like, leave the rest. Well, this part resonates with me. And being able to follow our dreams and the power of our own thoughts, the power of our own words, I've seen it happen over and over and over again. So my oldest sister, We were pretty much born and raised in Nebraska. We moved to California when we were in high school, and she stayed in California for a very long time. And she had a boyfriend that was kind of negative. I thought it was surprising that she had chosen him. But he always said, I always get tickets. And my sister's affirmation was, I never get tickets. I'm always in the divine flow of life. So they decided to take a trip back to Nebraska to meet the family, and they took his pickup, and he decided he needed a nap, so he's sleeping, and she's driving, and she's getting a little closer to Nebraska. And if you've ever been through Wyoming, nobody wants to be driving through there, so it's kind of a fast drive, going a little faster. All of a sudden, woo, woo, woo. He sits up on the seat, and he looks at her, and he's like, I always get tickets. Now you're going to get a ticket. And she sat there very calm and in perfect knowing, I absolutely do not get tickets. So the officer came up, and she said, here's my information. Sorry, I just haven't seen my family for a long time. We're getting closer. I was getting excited. And he said, okay, I'm not going to give you a ticket. And he leaned into the car and pointed at the boyfriend and said, however, I am going to give you a ticket for not wearing your seatbelt. Words are powerful. Thoughts are things. So we have to be very mindful. What am I thinking? What am I saying? What am I doing? What are the mental equivalents? Am I bringing things to me, or am I repelling them? And it's based on our thoughts. And sometimes maybe we don't even realize it. That's why seeing a practitioner, very helpful. That's why being mindful, and I love journaling, because when I journal, many times I come full circle at exactly what I'm thinking about, what's going on in my head, what's happening, so that I can look at, there's a pattern here. Let me put that down. Let me go back to that love space. Let me do some mirror work. And let me tell you, Louise Hayes has so many books, and she has a beautiful book called Mirror Work. And doing the mirror work, where you actually go to the mirror and you say to yourself, I love you. Now, when I first came to this teaching, I could not say that without crying. I did not like myself. I did not love myself. And it was a journey to be able to put some of that stuff down and forgive for the past. Because the nice thing about life is we know everything we've done. We know the good, the bad, the ugly of everything that we've done. And maybe that blocks our dream, and we've held ourselves back. Don't let you talk you out of a dream. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what you've been through. If you have a dream or something that's calling to you that keeps bubbling up, it's like, this feels good here. Let me explore this. And if I didn't have any obstacles in the way, what would I do? And then checking in with yourself, what would I do next? Okay, and now what would I do? And just following that energy and being at that love space with yourself. And being able to look in the mirror and say, I forgive myself, I love myself. Everything that happened got me to this point right here. Now, one of the things that gave me courage, because I did share on Sunday that I used to be very, very shy, and it was hard to step out of that comfort zone, that people-pleasing, want to please everyone. So when I found that I was in a marriage that really wasn't working, we had different ideas of raising children, and my children are so important, I was doing some research, and what I learned is that children learn 3 ways. 1, by example. 2, by example. 3, by example. And so I had to look at what kind of example am I giving my children? Am I being a doormat? Am I being a people pleaser? Am I not rising up and living my dream? So that gave me the courage to step to the next level and step out of something that wasn't working and start moving towards fun, excitement, and my dreams. So I encourage you to shake off that dream, dust it off, take a look at it. And if you're already on the path of your dream, keep going. And think about when you have a situation or a day that just, life isn't going well today, call a practitioner. Let somebody give you a spiritual mind treatment. Step to the next level. Find the love within. Put that baggage down. Get to that GPS and say, okay, here's where I'm at. Here's where I'm going. And the universe will get you there the easiest, softest, gentlest way it can based on everything it has to go through. Because we got stuff inside of us. Which reminds me of a Buddhist monk colony. In the 1950s, they had this big cement statue that they needed to move because there was going to be, actually it was clay, excuse me, a clay statue. They were going to be putting a highway through, so the Buddhist monks got this crane, and it was too heavy to move this big golden Buddha. And so they thought, well, we're going to have to come up with a different game plan. So let's do that tomorrow. We'll get a different game plan because it's starting to crack. We don't want to break it into pieces. So they put a tarp over it. It happened to rain that night. And one of the monks went to go check it out in the middle of the night. And so he had a flashlight, and he's checking on the whole thing to make sure everything's okay and it's covered everywhere. And he could see this little glimmer of light through the tarp. And he's like, what is this? And as he got closer and peeled away some of the clay, there was gold. To protect this beautiful statue, this golden statue, from anybody stealing it, they had put clay on the outside of it. And so they found that there was gold inside of there, pure gold. So know that about yourself. As we get rid of some of the old stuff, the old clay, there is gold in there. It's within each one of us. Everyone was created different. We're all different. So celebrate the differences. Can't compare ourselves to anyone else because we're not like anyone else. There's a wonderful TED Talk on multi-potentialites, because some of us just like a little bit of everything. So finding what works for you. We all march to the beat of our own drum, and we all have a different dream, a different goal, a different vision for our lives. And I've had some people say, oh, I had a vision back in the day. I don't need to have anything now because now I'm just kind of coasting through life. It's like, but there's something inside that wants to come through. And even if that's just touching someone else's life or reaching out to somebody and giving them a compliment, never waste the opportunity to do that. If you see somebody that looks fabulous, let them know. If you see somebody doing something fabulous, let them know. Terry Cole Whitaker used to say, you spot it, you got it. And that's with anything. I want to spot the good, and then we get in the habit of being a good finder versus noticing the negative. Let me overlook that part. Let me overlook that blemish. Let me see the divinity in everyone. Because if I can recognize it out there, I can recognize it in here. Starting with small steps. I did this at a grocery store the other day. There was this gorgeous woman. I said, oh my God, you are gorgeous. And she stopped everything, like the world had just stopped. She had never heard this before. And she said, thank you. I get the compliment from men all the time, but very seldom. In fact, never have I gotten a compliment from a woman about how I look. I'm like, serious? That surprises me, especially in this day. She said, I don't know what it is. So finding those times, give those compliments. Do the good things. Wayne Dyer used to say, go to an airport and watch a 747 unload and think of something positive to say about absolutely everyone that comes off of that plane. Just getting in the habit of seeing the good versus seeing the bad. And not to do a spiritual bypass. I want to do that with everyone else. But for my own self, not bypassing some of the things that are going on, because if something's happening within my body or something's coming up, let me acknowledge it and then decide what to do from there, but move forward. When we make a mistake, I have to tell you, I keep thinking about this because in San Francisco at the Pantages Theater, they always have like a lottery for the tickets that are left over if somebody didn't show up or doesn't claim a ticket. And you can sign up for it, and as long as you show up at the right time, you will get the ticket. And if you're with a friend, they might get one too. Hopefully you get one, and maybe you're close together, but you may have to sit somewhere else. So I had my youngest son with me, and we wanted to go to Wicked, and it was totally sold out. But they said, come back, you could win the lottery for the drawing. So we went there, and we won the Wicked lottery. So fun, so great. So I got the Wicked music, and this is when I was still living in Southern California, and I'm driving back, and I'm playing the music. And all of a sudden, I'm driving down the road, and the sun is on the wrong side of the car. There's an intersection there that if you get on it wrong, you end up heading towards Sacramento instead of down to Southern California. And I had driven about 100 miles out of my way. And in those situations, you just want to, it's like I wanted to yell at myself. I wanted to scream. And it's like, all right, take a breath. I might get frustrated for a few minutes. Rawr. Let it go, shake it off, and then get back in the car and sing some more and be grateful that I won the Wicked Lottery. So when we have little things that happen where we make a mistake or we do something, let it go. Move forward. Give yourself love. Forgive yourself. It's like, yeah, evidently something else is going on, and I'm always in the divine right time at the divine right place. And let me tell you, I had a class that night that I was heading down to, and I knew I was going to be late. I got there, and they talked about all the drama and all the stuff that had happened before I got there, but it was over. I'm like, I was in the divine right place at the divine right time because I missed all the drama, and I would have jumped right into it. Anybody like some drama sometimes? I was speaking at the Halloween party the other day. I was talking to someone, and I said, it's that thing, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. And she said, oh my gosh, if you can't say anything nice, call me, I'll dish. I'm like, sometimes we just want to do that. Be mindful of the things that you're saying, the people that you're calling when you're having one of those days. Am I calling the person to lift me up or the person to pull me down? Because sometimes we just want to commiserate in that that negative pot. Let's get out of the habit of doing that. It's like, all right, let me put it down. Let me move to this space where I'm lifting up to a better place, where I'm realizing my dream, where I'm loving myself, where I'm forgiving myself and letting it go. Let's take all of that in. And let's just know that that's what we do starting here, starting today. I did give I'm not going to call it a homework assignment, but a charge or an idea to 30 minutes every day. Really take time where you're not watching anything or looking at anything. Put all the social media stuff down and just have time with yourself where you're just visualizing what you want. Maybe even get out some crayons and paper, and it's like, my perfect day looks like this. My perfect life looks like this. And then just visualize, verbalize, feelingly believe it. And love yourself to the next level. I'm going to do a quick little prayer treatment, and then I'll open it up for questions or any other prayers. But let's take this as we share our dream, going inside our heart of hearts, and just breathing in the fullness of life, knowing that life is good and life is very good, knowing that we are living our best life ever. That as we keep putting in good thoughts of ourself, our life, our world, our dreams, we continue to lift up to that level, that we just say yes, yes, yes to the unfoldment of the individualized expression of the I am, that we are beautifully and brilliantly, totally unique. The world would not be the same had you not shown up. Everyone makes a difference. So we just take that love and step into gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Thank you for being an expression on this planet Earth at this time. As we just release this into the universal action of the law, knowing all is well. And so it is. And so at this time, we'll do our gifts, our tithes, our offerings. And I forgive myself. Grant may not forgive me, but I did something to the projector yesterday. So the projector will not be coming on. So if you know the offering prayer, you can say it. Otherwise, I will say it. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper. All those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love. And so it is. Thank you. And thank you for the volunteers that keep things rolling here. All good. So does anyone have a question or a prayer request? Yes, David.
I have a prayer request from I have a prayer request for my roommate.
Okay.
He's having some little health challenge, and a lot of business stuff happening all at once, and I could really feel his energy yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
His name is Eric.
Eric. Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to go to that total knowing space because I'm knowing that we're already one and we're all part of this wonderful cosmic universe that Eric lets go. There's a revealing of the wholeness of who he is, letting go of anything that does not serve him, as we all let go of the things that do not serve us, tuning into that inner knower that just knows that it knows that it knows the right and perfect places to go for assistance, for release, for love, for that revealing. Gratitude, knowing all is well. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay. Anything online, Grant? No, nothing online. Okay. Well, I am knowing that it's a beautiful, blessed day, that the red carpet of life is rolling out for absolutely everyone, that as you walk out these doors or as you sign off on the computer, that the red carpet of life is there, that life is embracing and loving you exactly who you are, how you are, and where you are, and in gratitude. And so it is. Have the best day ever. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.